So here, okay.
That just needs a...
Top up.
Have you ever done... do you ever do clean shave?
Yeah, I do, and people hate it. People absolutely hate when I do that.
So what do you use? So even like this, how do you get the
powder?
Huh?
Powder.
Powder?
A powder called shash.
Okay.
I'll bring you some.
Alright.
So no. It's like you just put it on.
Bump.
Yeah, put it on. Why do you have to say V though? That's
like
so feminine.
Oh, you mean actually a hair remover?
No, it's a powder. Yeah, it's a powder. So you mix it with water and you put it on 5 minutes. Warm towel.
Are we on?
Yeah, we are.
So we're recording all of this?
Yeah. Mine looks like the Voltron hair though.
I know, right? Because you got that. Hey, McCullers.
Alright, cool. I'm recording.
Hanzi hona bara akuliri bota Hanzi akasara akuliri bota.
Alright, sorry. Indeed, childish. Let me put myself on.
Can one of you guys taste this stuff?
I already did.
So give me some feedback then.
What is? I'm joking. I've never had a pineapple chip.
Today's episode is brought to you by
Oh my gosh!
Eat dried fruit. Eat raw.
Yay!
Because it was a very distinct thing of like, you taste it first and you're like, oh, this is weird. And then it's like,
You don't playing the music of it.
And we asked him to turn it off. I don't know what part of turn it. Yeah, I think he actually put the volume on.
I think I'm just excited to see you guys.
Bollocks!
At the most audio guys, it's been another all-nighter, so sorry.
Oh!
it's actually what
we got
happened.
all night going.
So you didn't realize it was still like you couldn't hear it anymore. Like
I think that's
when you said you thought you turned it off. So
no,
what happened?
You know what? So I think I put it. I was like, all right, no, okay. Whilst I turn this off, let me also put it on on airplane mode.
I love this one.
And then airplane mode was first. And then I turned the airplane mode off, and I think maybe the music had like gone quiet. And there was some point that we were rapping about. You know what? We should actually play it back and see if the music was actually quiet or if it was just. I just heard like that, and I was like, that's enough.
Maybe he decided so there was nothing playing anymore.
What caused the all-nighter? Oh, can I tell you my power was? So power came back and then went after 30 minutes.
On last night, the day
Not
before.
last, the day before. And then yesterday, power didn't go the whole day. I kept phoning.
That
like,
really
my
does
mate.
sound like a woe, bro.
I kept phoning my mate. I was
Humble
like,
brag.
how far? She was like, Tinao! I'll be like, I'll be like, do this, do that, do that.
How do you even
Everything,
leave the
switch
house?
everything on.
That's exactly what
I
was
went back
thinking.
home 3 times.
It's like sitting there.
Like our Wi-Fi, and I was like, hesh.
I legitimately do not.
48 bond for a ham and cheese sandwich.
That's crazy.
I thought prices are supposed to be going down.
So yeah, that might be an interesting one to look at. But I always feel bad about those things because I don't have enough information. So like yesterday I watched
The people who are watching, they have. Oh, that was a good thing.
Yeah. And so then after the
I didn't
Zorro,
watch it. Catch me up.
The State of the Nation with Zororo Makamba.
Confused about the changes going on in the economy? Don't worry, you're not alone. There are big changes all around us right now. A lot is happening. A new policy here, a new announcement there. It's kind of easy to lose track of what's really happening and why it's happening. It does look like it's a lot to take in, all at once. But let's just try to go through this together, because this is the State of the Nation.
pretty much it felt like an advocation video for the TSP.
It was pro.
It
was not unbiased. It felt like it was biased to one side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was making the man look good.
Yeah. But also, I felt like there were some fair points with my limited understanding of economics. And actually, the funny thing is, I then saw a rebuttal video. And so then I started watching the rebuttal video, but then it got to a point where I was now on Investopedia, like brushing up on Ecos 101. But it was Like, I mean,
Is that what you spent the whole night doing?
No. That was my rabbit hole last night, and I was proud of myself because, like, for a rabbit hole, that was a good rabbit hole. Normally, it's something like, oh, so what is Gordon Ramsay saying to this guy?
So the rebuttal video was that lady. There was a girl.
Yeah. So you saw it?
No, I saw it. I was.
Yeah, but I mean, they all conceded. They all conceded to the same points. Zim is ineffective without its own currency. We cannot turn things around in this country without our own currency.
I believe so.
The second thing is what did they say? That a stronger currency makes us less competitive on the export market,
100%.
and it then drives up our what's it called, our trade deficit. And I can't remember the other point.
He did go to Investopedia, right?
Yeah, I used to know this stuff, but I'll be very honest. Like, there were times when it would be like, I'd watch something and I'd hear this, like, yeah, I know what that means, and then I keep watching, and then the way that she was explaining was like, no, I actually don't know what that means. I have to go back.
Word.
How much of it are you taking in, and how much of it is relevant to your day-to-day, week-on-week, family planning for the month, etc. Of what all this stuff that's going on, or are you just getting into a few cues? It's the closer baby. You got that baby. You got that baby. Where she had the infants.
No, I think a lot of it then becomes relevant because they need to make decisions about certain things. So they need to decide how to move. It's like we're actually talking to my wife yesterday that there was a time where Zessa was wild. We then thought, let's get solar. Zessa came back, it was fine. We're like, no, see, let's still get the solar anyway. I'm like, I don't know, but see, things are now normal. Everything is okay. And then we left it. And now here we are, 2019, and we're like, we really should have done it when we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of it now is then using the information to make right decisions that are not about the now, but for whatever future life you're trying to figure out. So like if we're saying the currency is back, and what does that mean? Then you then now need to figure out, okay, so what do you do with the USD that you have? How do you handle that or maneuver that? Because now even banks are changing at better rates than money changers. Money changers are not answering their phones anymore. They're in jail. Niggas now disappeared. They're in jail. So it's like the landscape has
This
changed.
whole section is bleeped out.
No, we can't bleep this out. Why are we bleeping it out? No.
So the whole landscape has changed. You now need to adapt.
Yeah, money
and
changes.
change as well.
No.
So yeah, like we're talking about change. Zash now wakes up at 10 p.m. and
To
lives
work.
until 5 a.m. and then sleeps most of the day and wakes up again. Well, when we record.
Because you don't have kids.
I've gone full on Simba tags.
Fully.
Is that what
And,
tags
if my life was different, I'd probably be doing the same. But most of my stuff happens during the day.
Yeah.
So if I have to attempt that,
Yeah.
I'm literally going to be functional
Right.
for everything else that I need to do.
It's funny though when you talk about speaking towards the future, because that can also come back and bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
Try. But yeah, so like think about if you are, for example, a supermarket, and I think this is what's going on now, and prices are legitimately now going down.
Right.
But the problem is you bought your stock at this price.
At a high price.
So you now have to sell that stock at a high price
Right.
before you can, or else you're just chalking it up to a loss.
How much of your conversation, now we're married, and I don't know how the demographic of those who are going to be watching, but how much of your conversation on a day-to-day with your spouse is literally about money, changing money, trying to fuel who's done this, it's...
You guys talk about other things?
I used to.
Fuel, money, electricity, and maybe groceries.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever think back and be like, wow, once life wasn't like this? It's wild that once life wasn't like this.
Yeah.
And we had the gall to say this country's trash. And Zim turned around and was like, whoa.
I'll show you.
Why are you putting trash?
I'll trash up your life. Where's my coffee?
Hello.
My coffee. Where's the... Okay.
Welcome to a proposal. I just didn't mean it.
Thanks, Che. Love you.
Thanks so much,
Joe.
You're welcome. I'm the wife that makes, that cleans the house.
Yes. And the place is clean, as you can see. Sparkles.
I hope I'll be famous one day. See you
Ciao, thank you.
She's more famous than any of us.
I know, right?
So did you say? So you said the banks are more attractive than black market right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a ploy to get foreign currency? Because
100%.
one, what they've done is they said you can't trade in foreign currency,
100%.
right?
100%.
And now they're like, yo, if you want to bring your cash here,
Because I think the problem was they should have. Everything is just loose in Zimbabwe sometimes. Even this sort of situation is just like, yeah, so we'll do this and then it'll work out. But what really should have happened was the US should have been introduced and there should have been hectic controls and policies.
you
put in
say in
place.
2008.
Yeah, like whenever dollarization happened, there should have been within the first few years, economists should have seen the pitfalls and should have been like, hey, this is what needs to happen, because this is not a unique case. We're not the first country to have ever dollarized. So we should have then looked to other countries and seen like, this is what's happened there, this is what's happened here, this is what's happened here.
Yeah.
That's just generally, like that's how I would go about it. And I'm like, I said.
But we did it, and
then it ran away from us, which is, so now this is basically Rumenda saying, okay, fine, we admit that this has gotten away from us. And I think for the longest time, there were all these half measures because it meant that they were trying not to accept responsibility for the fact that this was their mess in the first place. That's what it feels like to me with my limited
Knowledge.
there's sometimes where I feel, someone will send something on WhatsApp, and it just, the jargon just gets too deep for me, and I kind of like.
Because I think that's the thing. I think it's at the end of the day, there are usually instruments in place in a functional. This sounds really wrong, but I, for lack of a better term, in a functional country where there is the government doing this, and then as the government is doing this, there's now there's now the fourth estate or journalism that's explaining what the government is doing, and there's all these other, and so like the populace is basically informed. So with us, there's been a lot that's been done and because things are so difficult, we don't want, and there's nobody who's actually taking the time to, like there should be a lot more videos like that Zororo video on both sides of the fence. Like people saying, oh, I think this, I think that, da 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 da. And then at least some Zimbabweans will have like a common knowledge of like what's going on and whatnot. But the problem is, like I said, for me to learn about that was like a 30-minute deep dive that I had to do. Like going back, reviewing balance of payments, figuring out like sovereign debt and stuff like that. Like it was a whole thing for me to have to go through. And I don't think, yes, people should be educated, but the instruments that are supposed to be there for us to be easily educated are not there. So everyone has to do, pretty much people have to like act like they're in O level, and in order to get the amount of research and the amount of knowledge that's needed to be knowledgeable on.
But Zimbabweans have had access to all sorts of platforms, but kind of lean more towards WhatsApp and your Facebook and a bit of Twitter, etc. Are we saying, Kudi, what's on there is not informative enough?
Yeah, so we're saying that's the gap. There's a gap in terms of then knowledgeable people who can break down what the things mean. Yeah.
Because even like with Zororo, I mean, I like Zororo. He's in terms of like, he's not a bad guy, but what the hell qualifications does he have to be rapping about that?
He's a media
Followers.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So like, at least
articulate. Yeah.
So, but that's dangerous. And from history, we know it's dangerous that when the articulate people are the ones who are able to get the big platform, that's dangerous because articulate people aren't always the kindest or the smartest.
Hail Hitler.
Hail Mussolini.
Where I think we should take the conversation to next though is in terms of the gaps. So like you're already describing a gap in terms of the information that we give, and then in terms of the gaps, in terms of how even policies implemented when they do things. So isn't then now the successful person the one who sees the gaps and then like does things within these gaps? So like you're saying, you took some time to do some research yesterday, but are we not letting ourselves down by not then researching, figuring out where the gaps are, and then literally doing business in those gaps and making things pop off?
Yeah.
Because the ones where jacking or stealing money from Zim and flying it out and in bucket loads. Saw a gap, they quickly got onto the gap, capitalized,
And shot.
and owns made a quick belly
Why aren't we doing it?
in the year.
Are we not seeing the gaps in Zim? Are we too busy complaining? Are we too busy just, what's happened to Zim?
I think it's a combination. I think we're like too busy, like with the business of survival, and also I think some of those gaps are not like small mover gaps.
Okay.
Like if that makes sense, it's like the when you recognize that gap, you have to have like, I don't know, a good
million liters of diesel.
Something like that.
Okay.
So like sort of like take advantage.
It's like even if it was a rugby game, like a regular on could see the gap, but he knows he doesn't have the pace to take the gap.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can't take the gap. You
Pass.
gotta make that run.
So what gaps can you see in the media market? Are there gaps right now?
That's why I was even asking the question, because that's what we were thinking about. We were having a conversation even yesterday in terms of we have to restructure what we do and how we do it, because it doesn't work anymore the way that it has in the past. And I feel like we're letting ourselves down by not seeing where the Goombas are and making the most of them. So I have no answer. I don't know where the gaps are in media. Maybe we already highlighted one in terms of
Could this
information.
platform have been more informative of what's going on, or are we just too busy about it?
We'd have to become those people.
I think that's the other thing, right? Like whereas I felt like I had enough information
Why is
yesterday
the water
to have,
boiling now?
I don't know. I felt like I had enough
The coffee's
insight
down.
to inform people and say stuff, but I'm also very hesitant of being that guy. You know what I mean? Like being the person who says, this is what happened and this is da 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 da. Because
But do you have to be the most informed person, or do you can you not at least give an opinion and let people discuss
I feel
something?
like
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Well, I personally feel like I have to.
Yeah.
No, but you see now, are you not then spending most of your time trying to raise your game and go and start studying? You start studying your books of old and stuff, etc. When you can.
But that's what the people who do those jobs do. Like those people who are like having like
News reporter knows just
the anchorman does not, but the reporter who's talking about the actual case,
They
absolutely, they need to.
Oh, okay.
So even a Christiane Amanpour, I have no doubt that when she speaks to these people, not only has she done research
she's
on the
lit.
person,
Yeah,
but on the circles that they operate in.
Right. I hear you. This is why I'm not in media. I'm chilling.
I think there's a certain level. I mean, I think we even noticed it, Kubasa. Like, there's a certain level of dedication that you need to be really good at your job, and if you're
Whatever you do.
yeah, and so if you're splitting energies too much, then you're now compromising the quality of what you're putting out there. Yeah. Finding out something about, like, if you see like the Kardashians in another feud, you're gonna click on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you may not even really care too much, but you're just like, let me go abreast. You might skim it, like
fighting.
yeah, like it's like there's something about the banal and there's something about these situations which are digestible that we like.
But I kind of
And they sell.
I see I see his video as sexy because he's appealing to a question. So there's a question right now in our marketplace where I personally feel we all act like we are full on literate and we know everything that's being said. But I'll be honest with you, I fully embraced what was going on based on the discussion that he kind of put across.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he was 100% right or wrong, but he gave me enough information to my level that I could say, okay, I understand what's going on. And I'm sure if I listen to the girls one, it would be 30 minutes.
No. Well, the video I got was something like 10 or something.
Okay,
like that.
yeah, so I'm sure if I watch that video, I'll also get her point of view.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But I think what we're lacking is actually just people who are able to put what their their POV is. You know what I mean? So Gui has, I feel, an amazing point of view to whatever topic, and he can contribute in the way that he knows best, and he'll be able to speak to people in the way that he knows best. What we lack, and where the gap is, my view, is that we lack the amount of people. We lack enough numbers to create more of a buzz. Now, what you find in the States, my news channel are big, and it's purely because enough people want to have or want to be putting messages across. You know, why don't we have enough Zororos? Why don't we have enough? I was going to say AC. Is he still doing those YouTube videos?
Just interviews.
But you know what? Actually,
Why don't we have different versions of it? I'm not
I'll
saying
tell you
everyone
why.
must be like so. No.
I'll tell you what it is actually, and it's. I think we have to take responsibility as an industry, because even if you look at Zororo, he's doing it mostly by himself. I know that he like from working with him before, a lot of those things he used to fund out of his own pocket to get things going,
Right.
and then later on he started getting like sponsors and whatnot. But it really was an effort by himself. And same thing with AC, it's mostly stuff that he's doing by himself. He has a little team that he's now built up to do like even like those car interviews or whatever.
Yeah.
The problem is those of us who really have the power to make things nice, like what he's done. I know Henry Holandaba is the guy who's behind that video, and at least he's now okay, fine. I have the knowledge and whatnot to make this look appealing and make people want to watch it,
Right.
and he's done that. But I think most of us, like I said, we're after the sexy stories. So we're after the fun stuff. We're after the stuff that isn't. We don't have enough conviction towards that. Where I think maybe part of it is being a good citizen, and maybe I'm being overly harsh, but I'm including myself in this, where I think we also need to care enough to be like, okay, fine, we'll just put out a show. Because I think the other thing is, it's you want to be palatable. Like, I don't want to put something out and it's now people are like, so you're on that side of the fence, all right, I can't mess with you. Because people really are like that. And so it's not tempting to go into it because it actually could be dangerous for your body.
Because your opinion is then, people then take sides based on what your opinion is.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way: like if somebody had a completely diametrically opposite view to what you have about something, like I don't know. First thing comes to mind is abortion. Like whatever your idea is, somebody has a completely different idea to that, and they've gone on their social media platforms and they've said that sort of stuff. Now they also provide a service that you beyond that whatever their personal show is, because you know that this is their view on this. It shades your opinion, like it shades your your willingness to do business with that person. And not everyone is like that, but a lot of people are like that. So I think that ends up being the scary thing, I think.
So you're basically saying you have an opinion about what's going on, but you'd rather not share it for fear of persecution.
Not even I have an opinion, but I have the power to give somebody who I consider articulate and and who has the views that I have, and give them a large platform to speak on that, and therefore affect change. Like I have the power to do that, but I don't because of whatever my own personal fears are. At least that's how I feel.
You're in the same boat.
For me, it's more of a not knowing enough. So like I can't even form an opinion on certain things because I don't know enough. Like what would I say about certain things without first gathering the information to then form an informed opinion about the stuff.
Right.
So sometimes, a lot of the conversation then you then don't even get involved in, because even that access to information, like I say, most people WhatsApp, Twitter, it's all second-hand information. So even if I was giving you an opinion, it's stuff that I've heard from Ningi and Ningi say. So even like now, I will then quote Zororo and his opinions on what he has thought, but it's not necessarily facts that we know. So I'm always not comfortable with that. So I'm then, in a lot of ways, I'm similar to Zash. So then, yes, I'd hear that, then I then want to spend another 2 hours doing some research and homework and coming to understand, and then having other conversations with other people, then I can be like, oh, okay, I believe that da 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 before I can say anything about certain things.
So you're saying like when do you actually?
When do you research? When do you learn?
That's what I'm saying. I think
Even the when do you research? When do you learn?
I think that's like all of the stuff that I end up watching in terms of like news. And maybe this is like me being a 5-year-old, but it's entertaining. I like watching like Last Week Tonight. I like watching the Philip DeFranco show. He appeals to my sense of humor. I like how he covers things. There's the Trevor Noah, I guess. There's
But then you end up knowing more about the States than of Zim.
That's true, and so and that's part of my point where I'm saying like we
On the gap in Zimbabwe.
we need more of the entertaining people who then speak. Are we basically forming a show right now?
Yeah, we are.
We do this a lot, bro.
I think I agree because I think the gap is being short enough, so quick enough, and entertaining enough to give people information of what's going on, such that they don't need to spend 2-3 hours, like we're saying, to find out about things. You know what I mean? They can have a 10-15 minute, oh, this is what's going on, it was hilarious, and they move on. So it's something that they can research or watch in a fuel queue, not when you're scrambling for bread because your phone will get stolen. It's really aggressive.
I'm saying that's a good thing though, but that to bring out that 15-minute thing requires 10 hours of studying by the person.
So I think that now ends up being the thing. So I think it's our what's it called? Because what we've had to do in this business is we've had to know how to do everything in order to get any. And even the things where we don't know how to do all of it, we know a little bit about what it is that the person that we're helping or whatever. I think we now need to find people that are smart, unequivocally smarter than us in a certain area, and say, okay, fine, we are giving you these resources. It is now up to, we will make sure that the cameras run, that the lights are good, that the edit is smooth and all of that stuff. Your job is to be that researcher.
Break it down, break it down. I like it. So you guys now have gone from artists to creators of a talk show. What are you gonna call it? Uncommon sense?
Sips tea.
I thought that was funny, to be honest. I just wish we had power and stuff, Kumba. Because I think I'd be on the ball, I'll be on top of my game. But now I'm sleeping 3-4 hours a night because when power does come back, I have to do stuff, you know, life things, you know, and you wake up, try to go through the motions, motivate yourself for the day, but you know that by midday, you're running on E, bro.
You're done.
And you're probably in the fuel queue.
But it's also the conundrum we used to discuss with Zash in terms of the person that can then thrive in the electricity zone is made now in the lack of electricity zone.
True.
So we always used to argue in terms of, okay, so if you're not able to do it now or figure out a way to graft now, when you do have all of the stuff at your disposal, what changes?
And what's going to motivate you to? It's not like once power comes back onto phase 0, phase 1, you're like, awesome, now I'm going to be the guy I need to be. Because now you've got a habit of lethargy. This can't be it for Zim. This cannot be it.
Do you know what I think? I think sometimes life isn't fair.
Correct.
That is unfortunately the what's it called, the way things are. I think that sometimes, and I'm not coming down on you because I'm also guilty of this myself. You can be so focused on the idea of like, this isn't fair. It can't be like this. We can't do like this. This shouldn't be it. We know that we can function like this. We've seen that other places function.
Right.
Why is it that our place isn't functioning? And we can be so focused on why it shouldn't be functioning that we're not trying to figure out the answer for the situation right now. And I think, like we said, the people who are then the people who will thrive when there's electricity are the people who learn to thrive now. So I feel like it's almost like a testing ground right now. Like for us to be like, okay, fine, we all know it's nonsense. We all know it's nonsense right now. We all know that things should be better. And some of us are positioned better than others. And so I know I'm positioned better than a lot of other people. So it feels wrong for me to say this, but I still do think that you've got to grind. Like the only thing that you can do, put your nose down to the grindstone, figure out a way to get it done. Like we all know that it's nonsense, but I think there's very little that we can do to change that nonsense. But we all have power to look at our own lives and figure out, okay, fine, how do we make it through this? And then when we finally figure that out, we can now spread that information, or like when things get better, we're now in a better position or whatever. But you don't want to be like, we couldn't do anything, and then now your life is on hold, and then when things now start going up again, you're like, all right, now I can start thinking about thriving. Because the ones who were thinking about thriving when that was going on are now miles ahead of you.
You're shocked. You're shocked. What do you think you can do to change where you are, even in an environment like this, and you've got fuel to worry about, bread to worry about, no power, etc, etc. What are you currently doing that you could help us understand in terms of us being everyone who's watching this, move forward and have the right mindset as well? Because I do my best not to continuously moan and things, but you always find yourself, what opinion, you stumble into a moan, you know what I mean? You're gonna feel and you kind of thing. So I'd love to know what people say as well. Talk to us, let us know. Cool. Yay, 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 yay.